Tonight on KGW News, a wife pleads for the maximum punishment for her husband's killer.
I feel like my heart has been ripped out of my chest.
The sentence for a robber now convicted of murdering an off-duty police officer. Plus,
he opened palms, slapped people.
Woken up with a slap. How some student athletes say they were assaulted by their coach at a training camp. And later,
it's a big issue.
The big issue that could signal a shift in how patients at rural hospitals get connected to more complex care.
He didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos. Literally chaos.
He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Tonight, a historic rematch, 4 years in the making. President Biden and former President Trump took to the stage for the first presidential debate of 2024. Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich. From the economy to abortion rights, the two oldest candidates to ever run for president sparred over decades-old issues. Casey Decker from our Verify team took a look at some of the claims made tonight.
President Biden and former President Trump faced off in the first presidential debate of 2024, and our team was tracking the claims they made. So let's verify what's true and what's false using these sources. The debate began with a discussion of the economy, and this claim from Trump about inflation under Biden.
He inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing.
This claim needs context. It's true that inflation rates when Biden took office were extremely low, just 1.4% according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, though they weren't zero, and in fact had been as low as 0.1% just a year prior. In the next 14 months, inflation rose to 8.5%. But it didn't happen suddenly, as Trump claimed. It rose gradually over time. The candidates also squared off on healthcare, and Biden claimed he's helped lower drug prices.
We brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for an insulin shot as opposed to $400.
This claim is misleading. In 2022, Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act, which capped insulin costs at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. Biden appeared to misspeak when he said $15. He later corrected himself. And claiming seniors were paying $400 per shot, that's an exaggeration. A 2022 study conducted by Biden's Department of Health and Human Services estimated the average out-of-pocket cost for insulin was just over $400 per year, not per shot.
Women lost the right to reproductive rights.
Abortion is also expected to be a major issue for voters again this year, and both candidates accused the other of being extreme on the issue.
The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth.
Trump went on to claim, quote, after birth abortions are already allowed in Democrat-controlled states. Those claims are false. Killing a child after birth is infanticide, which is illegal in all 50 states. As for late-term abortions, CDC data shows those are extremely rare. Less than 1% happen at 21 weeks or later, and those are often done to save the life of the mother. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
You can find a recap of the debate as well as more fact-checking up right now on KGW.com. The two candidates will have just one more debate before the election. That will happen September 10th. We want to now get to breaking news out of North Portland, where police are investigating a deadly shooting. We're taking a live look right now at the scene near Interstate Avenue and Prescott Street. Portland police say that's where officers found a man dead on the Max platform around 8:30 tonight. At this point, no word on any arrests. Right now, North Interstate Avenue is closed between Skidmore and Going Street. Also, the Max is not running through that area. Now to the man convicted of murder in the death of a Vancouver police officer. Today, a Clark County judge sentenced Julio to 29 years in prison. Catherine Cook brings us the emotional day inside the courtroom.
I feel like my heart has been ripped out of my chest. I'm shattered, lost.
The widow of slain Vancouver police officer Don Sahota stood before a Clark County judge Thursday. Her agony, a plea for justice ahead of Julio Segura's sentencing. Last month, a jury found the 22-year-old guilty of first-degree murder. He'll spend the next 29 years in prison.
The defendant not only took away my person, the love of my life, my everything, but also he took my home, my peace, my identity, my sense of place, my purpose, my sense of safety, my privacy, my life, and my future.
In January of 2022, Segura robbed a Vancouver convenience store, then led police on a chase. It ended at Sahoda's home in Battleground, where he was having dinner with his wife. Sahoda tried to arrest Segura, but Segura stabbed him and ran into the house. A responding sheriff's deputy saw Sahoda on the ground and shot him, thinking he was the suspect. While Segura didn't pull the trigger, a jury still found him guilty of murder.
The defendant is the only one responsible for this senseless tragedy. He admitted to stabbing Don, and in his own words, thought he killed him.
For 2 hours, more than a dozen people spoke about Sahoda's death and what his life meant to them. That included Sahoda's mother.
I don't think life is long enough. He took my son away from me. I don't think the hole in my heart will ever mend.
Segura himself brought a prepared statement to court, but decided not to deliver it after hearing the statements from Sahoda's friends and family. Instead, he apologized for the pain he'd caused.
There's nothing I can say that I can take away all that pain. I can't reverse time. I can't undo things that have been done. And I would just like to say that from the bottom of my heart, I give the Sahoda family my deepest condolences for the loss of their loved one.
Segura will not be eligible for parole, but he can get up to 10% of his sentence reduced for good behavior. The judge said she expects Segura's attorneys will appeal because of the unusual nature of this case. Christine.
Appreciate your reporting on this. Thanks, Catherine. Let's get you caught up on some of tonight's other headlines. The Hood River Bridge is closed to all traffic after a crash involving a semi-truck. Officials from the Port of Hood River say an excavator on the truck hit the bridge and caused severe damage just before noon today. Drivers have to divert to either Cascade Locks or the Dalles to get across the Columbia. We spoke to one driver who was taking it all in stride.
I don't mind doing the whole view because it's beautiful, especially this time of the day. It's fresh, and then you get the nice sunset going on, stuff like that. So I don't mind the view, but an inconvenience at times.
ODOT says engineers from the Port of Hood River are assessing the 100-year-old bridge to see if there's any structural damage. They expect to find out by 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon if the bridge can reopen. Also, there is progress on a fire burning in Deschutes County in Central Oregon. The Darlene 3 fire has burned more than 3,800 acres just outside of Lapine. This evening, containment has gone up. Crews now have it 42% surrounded. Some areas are still under evacuation orders, but even those were reduced tonight. Investigators think someone may have started that fire, but they're still looking into exactly how it started. And Multnomah County has secured a spot for a new 24-hour sobering center. It's on Southeast Sandy Boulevard near Pine Street on the Central East Side. It's where law enforcement will be able to drop people off who are caught using drugs, giving them a chance to get treatment instead of jail time. A new state law recriminalizes possession of hard drugs, but gives counties the option of deflection programs. Officials hope to have the center up and running by September 1st. Tonight, we are hearing from a Westview high school student who says his head football coach slapped and shook him and several of his teammates awake at a training camp. Football families met to talk about the incident tonight, a day after that coach stepped down. Our Alma McCarty joins us now from the newsroom with more on this story. Good evening, Alma.
Yeah, Christine, from what I've been told, many are still trying to wrap their heads around this incident and say the path forward for the program at this point is a bit unclear.
It's kind of just been a whole roller coaster.
Just days after an off-campus incident at an overnight football camp, Westview families are still coming to terms with what happened.
It was Tuesday morning, like at 1 in the morning.
Seikoa Kurkowski Afoa, a rising senior, was there at Linfield University in McMinnville.
I had just I had barely been asleep for almost an hour, and I wake up to just a palm to my face. And for me, I was just it woke me up instantly.
Players say they were slapped or shaken awake by then head coach Jamal Jones, who is also a Hillsborough police officer.
He was putting his hands on people, yes. He opened palms, slapped people.
McMinnville police responded around 4:30 Tuesday morning doing a welfare check after reports of this behavior that cut the training short.
It was supposed to run for a maximum of 4 days. We were supposed to leave that afternoon, but we all left at 5 in the morning instead.
Jones resigned Wednesday, one day after the Beaverton School District placed him on administrative leave, pending an investigation. Seikoa says in the meantime, other coaches have stepped up.
And they do want what's best for us.
Thursday night, the team talked about what's next for the Wildcats.
It was just to clear things up. It was just to let people know what is the next steps. And right now we may not know what they are, but I do hope that good things come out of all this terrible stuff.
And at this time, McMinnville police have not charged Jones, but say they are actively investigating to determine if there are any criminal offenses. As for the Hillsborough Police Department, they placed Jones on leave pending further investigation. Christine?
Yeah, Alma McCarty from the newsroom. Thank you, Alma. You're watching KGW News at 11. Ahead, a setback in emergency services. Why transferring patients to other hospitals is going to be difficult, potentially, in the Dallas. Plus, it's day 2 of the NBA draft. Orlando Sanchez has the latest Rip City decisions.
It was Sun City out at the Oregon coast for a while anyway. Then the clouds started to roll in later on during the afternoon and evening hours. Still pretty good sunset out that way. Okay, we've got some really good weather coming up for the weekend and potentially getting warmer towards the end of next week. And do you remember what you were doing 3 years ago today when the heat dome was here? We'll revisit the numbers.